Hello and welcome to Crafty Turn. I wanted to start today with a new memory book and I wanted to try it in a slightly different way. I'm going to admit I haven't had a chance to practice this, so fingers crossed that it all goes right. Now what I wanted to use today was some beautiful Stamperia papers which I found the other week. I was doing a bit of evening browsing. And these are the Romantic collection, and the papers are just gorgeous. If I can just, oops, which way around does it go? There we go. There are just some really beautiful papers in here, which I thought would be perfect for memory books. So I bought a couple of these, and I bought some of their 12 by 12 papers with cards on, so that I can use them as the tags. But what I wanted to do, because the papers were so beautiful, I wanted to do something a little bit more special. So I'm going to have a go at making a memory book with a hard cover. And we'll see how it goes. Bit of a learning process together. So I'm going to bring you down and let's see what we can do. So very carefully bring you down. There we go. Hopefully you can see most of my board. So I've done some of the cutting in advance, and what I'm using here is grey board, and I wanted to do a small album. I've got quite a lot of the big 8x8s and 7x7s, but I wanted to do something a little bit smaller and a little bit more detailed. So I'm going, this is 7x7, and I've cut two pieces at 7 by 7. So if you want that in centimetres, it's about 18 centimetres. So 7 by 7, two pieces. I've then cut two pieces at 7 by 3. And then I've cut another piece at, I think it's 7 by 2. Yes, 7 by 2. So they're all 7, but you've got 7 by 7, 7 by 3, two of those, and a 7 by 2. And then I've also cut myself from some scrap magnetic strip. I've cut myself two pieces of magnetic strip, it's the self-adhesive, and I've cut that to 6.5 inches. And the width doesn't matter, as long as it's not any wider than your flap, it will be absolutely fine. So that's what I've cut out already. I've also got, because I'm going to do it on blue card, I needed blue architape. Now this is the architape that you can buy from Call Cats, but any sort of bookbinding tape will be perfect. And we're going to have a go and see what we can do. So the first thing we're going to do is, one of these is going to be the front. So we're going to need 3 sides with tape. So I'm going to, and this is actually the hardest part. I've lost one of my pokey tools. There it is. I'm going to use this pokey tool because it is a little more sticky than the others. The other one's a brand new one. And I'm just going to try and prise the backing off the actual tape. And this is a what's the name to do, because the tape is so sticky, it's really difficult to get the backing tape off. And unfortunately I don't have any nails, but let's see what we can do. Something's coming, something's giving, maybe not. Come on, you can do it. I'm going to put it onto the card, it might be better. It's less likely to slip. There we go, we're there. Right, so I'm going to take the protective seal off here, in theory. There we go. Right, so I'm going to take the protective seal off and I'm just going to lie it down. And with my 7x7, I'm starting just shy of the first corner. I'll explain why in a minute. I'm making sure I'm about halfway, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. I am going to go round and then I'm going to pull it taut, go round the second side, still keeping it as straight as I can, and then pull it taut, whoops, and go round the third side. Like that. And then I'm going to get some scissors and I'm going to cut this off just very slightly, miter that corner like that. Okay, so to stop this from coming apart again, I'm just going to fold that down like that to make it easier to get it apart next time. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I would suggest an old pair of scissors because this is very sticky. So what I'm going to do, I'm hoping you're going to be able to see, I'm going to cut diagonally into that corner, oops, and then the other side diagonally into that corner, but I'm not cutting that piece off. You'll see this better when I do the other side because you'll be able to see the flap. But you've got a little triangle and I'm just going to push that triangle down onto my grey board. And then I'm going to do the same with the other corner. So into the corner, but not quite, and then pull that down. Now that means you're going to have a nice neat corner. Now because you can't lie it flat yet, I'm going to use my Teflon tool and I'm just going to lift that up onto the grey board with my Teflon tool and give it a bit of a scrub. And then I'm going to do the second one, same thing, pulling it up with my Teflon tool and folding it over, and then the same on the third one. Now you'll be able to burnish this better when the other side is done as well. But you can see how we've got nice neat corners. So then we're going to turn it over and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So into the corner, but don't cut it off. Make sure you can see it, and then pull that piece down. And now we can put this one up, and I'm going to pull it with my fingers and then burnish it. Pull and burnish so you get a nice tight, crisp finish. Okay, so you've now got a nice tight, crisp finish. So then we're going to cut the next corner, and it helps sometimes if you just bend it in. Don't stick it together, but just bend it in slightly. It gives you a better idea of where the corner is. So there and there, pull it in. Oops, just need to snip it a little bit more. Snip a little bit more, pull that in, and then these you can now pull over with your fingers so that you get a really nice tight finish. And this one, pull it over with your fingers so that you've got a really nice tight finish. Turn it over, and now you can burnish the other side as well. And this is going to be your front cover. You don't need to do this, we'll come to that in a minute. So now you want to take one of your 7x3, and this is going to be your spine. So all you're going to need to do are the top and the bottom. So you're going to get your blue, I'm just going to cut it so that it's straight, because if you remember we mitered the last bit. And I'm just going to, oh, of course I've done it again, haven't I? I cut it and then I haven't pulled it off. Right, so I need to pull this off. Come on, you can do it, I know you can. It really is hard to get this off. What I should have done is cut it after I'd got it off, but we'll just have another go. We will get there. Oops, I've just frayed that blue a little bit. I can cut that off once I've got into this. I'm sure there is a knack to this that I just haven't acquired. This is the bit that takes me the longest to do. There we go, I'm in. And what I'm going to do is just trim that little bit off because I've frayed it slightly. Okay, next time we'll remember to cut it after. So, you just want a little bit on here, and again you don't want to go right up to the edge, and you'll see why when we come to join them all together. So a little bit on there, and I'm just going to miter that into that edge. Come on, come on, come on, you can do it. Very, very sticky. So put that down, lift up one side with my Teflon tool, and then with the other side use your fingers to get a really nice tight finish, and then do the same on the other side, remembering this time to pull it back before you trim. Okay, so pull it back, lay it just shy of the edge, pop that on, and then just miter that slightly so that it's not right up to the edge, and then push that side down with your Teflon tool, lay it down and pull the other side over with your fingers and give that a really good burnish. You don't want that coming up. Okay, so that is the front and the spine. So now you want the back piece, but you only want top and bottom again. Okay, so snip that piece off. Now obviously this is a square, so it doesn't matter which is the top and which is the bottom. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. Make sure that's about straight. That's moved. Okay, we'll do the same thing again. Miter in these corners. Top and bottom. Let's pull that off a bit quickly. Just get rid of that edge. It is incredibly sticky stuff. Well, I'm going to have to come in there. Oh, that's it. I got there. And fold that over. I'm obviously doing this really quickly. You can take a lot more care and a lot more time than I'm taking. So I'm just going to pull that a little bit off and do the opposite side. little bit shy of the edge. A bit more of that off. And then last bit, snip that off like that, I think might be easier. And then snip that bit off separately. That bit off my scissors. Pull that one up with my pull it tight like that, and then give it a good burnish with your Teflon tool, like that. And then your final piece, which is your 7x2, you want to go round 3 of the edges. So I'm just going to sort this out because it's in a terrible pickle. So again, I'm just going to cut so that I've got a nice straight edge. Like that. Stuck all of these onto my board, which is not a good idea. And I'm going to start on one of the small sides, and I'm going to go round, pull it quite tight, round and round. Whoops, that's just bent a little bit. Round, and again we'll go diagonally, and then we'll take that other one diagonally there. And then, as we did before, I'm just going to give those a little pinch in. It does help. Snip into there. Snip into, scissors are stuck. Snip into there. Pull that little corner down. Do the same on the other side. Snip into there. Snip into there. Pull that corner down. The first side is harder because you can't fold it flat. So I'm just going to pull those two sides in because they are quite small, and then lay it on its side and use my Teflon tool to bring that up. Sorry, it's got a slight bend in it, which is making it a little bit harder to manoeuvre. That's it. There's a slight bend in the card, and I've just creased it slightly. So go in that way and do that, and then we'll pinch the corners again, and we'll take the triangle, push it down, and then push that one down like that, and then we'll take the triangle, push it down, and push that one down like that, and then pull that one over with your hands so that you get it. If you get a little tiny crease in it, don't worry, because you are going to cover up a lot of this. And then you've got nice, neat corners. So what we're going to do next is join them together. Let me just get this. And for this, I'm using the Cool Cats hinge things. I don't know what they're called. They probably have a proper name. But they are really useful. And the ones I'm using are the 1/2 inch ones, because 1/2 inch is what I'm going to be making all my spine pieces from. So it makes sense to use the 1/2 inch. And they just look like a T shape, but they're really useful. So I'm going to get my front cover. So that's the bit that's got, let me just, hopefully you can see it. That's the bit that's got 3 sides. And I'm going to, carefully, because I don't want to lose that edge, I want double and a little bit more. So I'm just going to roll that round so that it's double and a little bit more, and I'm going to cut that off. And then I want my spine piece. And what I'm going to do is take some of my tape off here. Don't start on the edge. Make sure you've got quite a bit of overhang. And I'm going to start, take off, whoops, some of your scrap paper. I'll come down here, you can see. And I'm going to put my hinge at about the halfway point. So I'm putting it on my scrap paper so that it doesn't stick, and I've got it so that I've got a roughly equal tape both sides. And then I'm going to pop that onto there like that. Then I'm going to take another piece of my paper. This just stops the hinge from sticking, and I'm going to put that onto that side. So I've now got a hinge top and bottom, so that when I put this in, oops, as long as I've cut it correctly, which I have, I've just cut it very tight, I will then have a straight piece, which is going to be my hinge. That's why you don't go right up to the edges, because if you go right up to the edges, it's hard to get that in. So when you're happy that it's on and it's straight, you're going to take your little hinge measuring devices out, take your little protective pieces off, pull that nice and tight, and then the same on the other side. It's stuck. Pull it nice and tight and bring it together. It doesn't matter if it's not absolutely straight, because you are going to cover it. So if I get my Teflon tool, if I now do that, give it a really good burnish on either side, and then I'm going to get the side of my Teflon tool and I'm going to take it in between those two pieces, front and back. And what you should see now is it's beginning to look a little bit like a book. So, and you can do that for as long as you need to and want to get a nice hinge. I'm going to move on. So I now want the back of my book, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I've done before. Oh, golly gosh. Right, I've actually cut this again, so I'm going to have to go through this nonsense again, pulling this off here. There we go. It's happened a bit quicker this time. I'm just going to lift that bit up as well. You have to be quite careful, because otherwise the glue comes up as well. It's so sticky. There we go. That's got it. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I want it to go round and a little bit more. Okay, don't go mad with you a little bit more, because this stuff isn't cheap. Okay, so again, I'm going to lay it down. Put some protection using the old backing tape, and I'm going to lay that on to there again, about halfway. Doesn't have to be exact, because your it does have to be straight though. So get it straight. That's it. And then we're going to put our double one onto here. Gosh, it's so sticky. Okay. Put our double one onto here. making sure it's straight. Take off some of your backing paper, just pop it on there, and we'll pop the other hinge on this side so we know we're straight, and then we're going for the back page, which will fit neatly into there, so you know. And again, I've used the 1/2 inch one, so I'm going to take that off there and that off there, that off there, that off there. That's going to come over like that. Pull it nice and taut. This bit is going to come over like this, and again pull it nice and taut, and use your Teflon tool, your bone folder, whatever you've got. Give it a really good burnish, front as well as the back. Middle of your Teflon tool, and really get into that gap. Okay, and the more you can do this, the better your hinges will be. So you can see how it's come together. Now, if you wanted to leave it like this, you would have put your tape on 3 sides, front and back. But I actually want a magnetic finish. So this is where your 4th piece comes in. So I'm going to put my 4th piece here, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So, and I've cut it off. Right. So, over the top, make sure you've got a little bit extra. Cut that off. Go through all the hoo-ha of pulling this off here. You can see it's coming. Yeah, there we go. It's coming. There we go. Really is stuck, which is good because you know it's going to work, but it does make it a little bit difficult to get it started. There we go. So, for the last time, a little bit of tape to protect on there. Your hinge, straight. It doesn't have to be absolutely central as long as it's straight. This butts up to the corner of your tool, and then it comes down like that. A little bit on the other side, like that. Put your hinge. And you mean you don't need these? You can make something very similar from a piece of card. I like these. They're transparent. They're easy to see what you're doing, and because they're plastic, they come off very easily. Okay, so take that one off there. That one off there, pull that over like that. That's not straight. I wonder if I can get it a bit straighter. Oh, it's not straight on there. Okay, so I'll get this off. Just do that again. I think my hinge wasn't quite straight. I have to admit I didn't think it was. Okay, let's try again. Get that straight, move the other hinge in the other end so that I know I'm straight. Okay, pull those off, pull that off. I've just realised I've done the wrong piece. Okay, right. This is the piece I wanted to do. Sorry. So I'm just going to run some tape around the three sides of this one. Come on, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Quickly run some tape around the three sides of this one. Come on, that's it. There we go. Come on, come apart. Just get it off this side as well. Must have just kept one of the spare pieces and not realised I had. Oh, I know what that piece is. Right, yeah. So, actually, I only want the two edges of this, don't I? Because that's, yes, that's right. I did tell you, I did warn you, I hadn't actually done this, but I had a picture of it in my head. So we just want an edge. So we just want an edge. And an edge. I missed out a piece. I wasn't wrong, I just missed out one piece. Okay, so an edge and an edge. Take that one in and that one in. More haste, less speed. So there we go. And we'll just lift those up. And as I say, if I was doing this not in front of the camera, I would spend a little bit more time on it than I have. Right, so now this is why that didn't look right. So we're going to put that onto there. That goes there. That goes there, and this one fits onto there. So this is what I was thinking. So what I've got now, pull that one down, pull that one up. I've now got, when I make the hinge, so in the middle, like that, and like that. So I've now got something that so far looks like a sleeve. And then what I want is this last piece to go here. So for the last time, it's rolled in on itself. For the last time, it wants to wrap round and have a little bit of spare. Right. It's now getting to the end of the roll as well, so it's getting a bit tight. Put my scrap piece on there. And get my scrap piece straight, and that helps as well. Put that onto there, making sure it's roughly equal. Put that into that corner. Pull the rest of this off. Take my scrap. Put my other hinge on, and I can see I've gone way way too far, not straight. There we go, that's better. Sorry, I am rushing this a little bit. That's going to go on there. That is going to go on there. Take that off there. Take that off there. Fold that over like that. Fold this over like this, and I've got just a bit too much, so I'm going to chop a bit off. There we go. And give that last bit of burnish. Like that. So now you have your spine here, your back, your flap, and then you've got a magnetic flap which we're going to put the magnet on to go there. So your book is going to sit inside there. And the reason I've made this spine 3 inches is because I want 6 pages and each page needs a 1/2 inch gap. So I'm now going to get my little bit of magnet. So I want a piece of magnet under here. So this is much easier to pull off. Oh, she says, come on. And I'm going to pop that on there like that. And then I have another piece of magnet which I'm going to fit over the top so that I know it's the right way up and the magnet is strong. And then I'm going to take, peel off that, fold this around as I want it to be, and then pop that down there. And I should, there we go, be able to have my magnet in the right place to hold that together. So that is the base of my memory book completed. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to use a blue, I'm going to cut out pieces 1/4 inch smaller than the 7 by 7 and the 7 by 3 and all of these pieces, and cover the whole of the front and the back. So when you see this next time, it will all be covered. So I hope you've enjoyed that. The base of my memory book completed. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to use a blue, I'm going to cut out pieces 1/4 inch smaller than the 7 by 7 and the 7 by 3 and all of these pieces, and cover the whole of the front and the back. So when you see this next time, it will all be covered. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you're going to have a go at it.